Flossmas day 10. My voice sounds like it's got fog in it too. Man, what a run of RDF. Rain, drizzle, fog. It's mizzling today. It's so misty, it's like rain. Can you hear the waves though? Can't wait till I can see that water again. I bet you're feeling the same way. Chat soon. It's time, day 10. Gonna open the Modern Folk Embroidery Evertote Roxy Floss Co. Try not to bend the pattern inside. My videographer is awake. I'm doing this in the morning. I'm still in my pajamas. Okay, let's have a look here. Oh! Ooh, Rudolph. Isn't that pretty? With 2 peppermints. Thank you. Okay. And now, from one of my friends, I'm not going to show you the name. This is from my Knitwits Advent Calendar. Well wrapped. It's neat. Most of us use paper for our presents. I think everybody just about. Oh, wow. Oh, look. It's a beautiful project bag. Make sure you go up and down so you can see the whole thing. Isn't that gorgeous? And that is handmade by my friend. Look at that. Woo! With a candy cane. That's gorgeous. Thank you, S, whose name I shan't say, but this is beautiful. Thanks so much. Chat soon. Bye. Hi, everybody. I thought it would be a good idea today to do a little FFO session. So it's not really a tutorial. I just want to show you how I'm finishing up the Flossmas 2022 holiday cloche ornament. So yeah, it's kind of sort of half tutorial, half chat, I guess. I've taken a picture to put at the beginning before we start the video, kind of showing you everything that I have. And I'll talk about what I'm working with as I go through. So right now, the first thing I need to do is trim my fabric. What I've decided to do is mount the ornament on this piece of wood that so nicely came from Stitch Toolbox's mystery box last year, I believe. Last year, the year before, I can't remember. This feels to me, it's a bit rough, so I think it may have been sealed, perhaps. So I'm going to take some very, very fine sandpaper, take this out in the garage, and I'm going to give that a sand. Then with a damp cloth, I'm going to wipe that over before we start painting. So that's what I'm going to be putting this on. But right now, let's give it a trim. So my plan for this is to have this painted white and then antiqued. So using a, I've got an antiquing medium that's half wax, half brown paint that I'm going to use on top of this. Country Chic is a clay-based mineral paint from, I think this is Canadian made. Let's see. Yes, made in Canada. So it's a mineral paint. It's just a white. So it's quite, and you can use any kind of paint. So you can use wall paint. You can use like a craft paint that comes from Michael's. Any kind of paint at all for this. Anyway, I'm going to paint this white and antique it. And I'll show you how I do that in a second. But for the final finish, this is going to be mounted on that board on top of mat board and a piece of, what's it called? Oh, just batting, quilting batting. But the for the quilting batting, I'm going to be actually glue gunning this down to the quilting batting. So this is an ornament. It's, although I hope it's around a long time, it's not something that I feel is heirloom quality necessarily. So, and then for the fabric, I'm going to sew along the exterior, and then I'm going to fray up to the sewing line. So we're going to be doing that today. Should be fun. So right now, because I'm going to fray, let's open this up here to get ready to trim. So I am looking at, I'm going to sew about 1/4 of an inch around the edge of this. So this is, we'll call it 2 inches wide. So I need at least 2.5 to fray out to 1/4 of an inch, and I want a 1/4 inch outside of that. So that's going to make 3. So I need to cut this, and just to make sure, let's see, just to make sure, let's look at 3.5. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then on the top, it's 5.5, and I want to add an inch, so that's going to be 6. So 6 by 3.5 is what I want my final to be here. So I'm going to turn it this way because I've got a bigger piece of fabric that I want to use for other things. I'm going to cut. And as you can see, this is a little bit. I'm going to go and press this and straighten it out. I'll be right back. Okay, I've ironed it. Let's see if I've managed to make it straighter. Yes, awesome. So all I did is use a little bit of, sprayed a bit of water on it and stretched it a little bit and then ironed it flat. So this needs to be 1/2 inch. So I'm just making sure it's lined up along this edge to cut cut her along this edge. Oops. You can see it's still a little bit off being straight there, so I'm lining it up along this edge because I know that that's straight. There we go. And last cut. I have lots of this hot chocolate to stitch on later. So again, I'm using the side, but I'm lining it up on the other sides to also make sure that it's straight. There we go. Put away the hot chocolate for another day. I bet that dulled my blade. I accidentally went over the sandpaper. Whoops. Okay. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is, and I'm not going to show this on camera, I'm just going to do a straight stitch. I'm going to choose probably 3 blocks down. So 3 blocks down on the Ada. I'm going to sew just a straight stitch, remembering to reverse at the beginning and end, all the way around here, 1/4 of an inch away from here, and then I'll show you how to fray it. Okay, here we go. Not my best sewing job, but there it is. So I've stitched a straight stitch all the way around, and that's going to lock in the Ada from fraying once it hits that point. So let me show you how to start fraying. Basically, you're doing what you don't normally want it to do. And I use just a straight pin. Straight pin is fine. And you're going to go all the way around and pull up those threads. I like to start on the end, like the shorter end. Ow. Try not to stab yourself with the pin, like I just did. And I start at the shorter end because that means you'll get this corner done and a start on the longer ends. Done. Put down your pin when you're fraying, or you too will get a needle in your finger. So I'm going to fray this all the way around, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I just wanted to show I've got it almost down to the line. Makes a beautiful frayed edge. So now I'm going to fray around the wrist. I'm staying about a block away. Okay. There it is, frayed all around the edge. Okay, let's get to the wood part. Okay, for the next part, I've got my wood. I'm going to give that a bit of a sand with high grit. This is actually 1500 grit sandpaper. 220 would be fine, but this just happens to be what I have. I'm going to give this a sand. Going to make my cloth damp and wipe this down with with the cloth to get off all the dust. Then I'm going to start painting with any kind of white water-based paint that you have, and I'm just going to use my brush here. So I'm just going to run up to the garage and sand this. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got this nice and sanded. Give it a wipe. And there we go. This is going to take a couple coats. because I want it to be fairly opaque, so not see-through. Coat 2, let you in on a secret. For water-based paint, if you want the want to dry faster, as long as you don't hold it too close to the wood, you can use a hair dryer and dry it faster. So if you ever needed your paint to dry faster, there's an option for you. Does not work with varnish. Do not use a hair dryer on varnish or polyurethane or whatever you call it, but just water-based paint. A hair dryer works fine. Okay, change of plan. I can't for the life of me find my antiquing wax. So I'm just going to use some, this is a water-based gouache, but you can get, as long as you're getting a brown, a dark brown like this, in terms of a water-based paint. So like Deco Art or Folk Art or anything like that you can get at Michael's, for example. You can use it for what I'm about to do. So I just have a piece of this, paper towel was used as packing, so now we're going to use it for antiquing. You can use a soft cloth too. So just put something, like literally all you're going to do is rub it on. And I do like mine dark, but you don't have to have it this dark. Rub it on and rub it off. Now I'm finding this a little bit dark here because it's kind of sticking here in the middle. So I'm just going to go add a little bit of water and I'll show you how to smooth that out. There, I've just added some water to smooth it out a bit. It would be more advantageous to use a cloth, I think, as my paper towel keeps kind of drying out. Just going to grab a bit more water. Still got a bit of dark over here. And this is getting too light, so I'm going to add a little bit more dark back in. Oh. There. Now, to further that kind of antique look, I'm just going to take a sanding block and I'm going to sand along the edges here so it looks a bit more worn, and I'll sand a little bit in here. So I'll do that on camera so you can see it. Okay, so I have this sanding wedge. This is really rough. It's a 60 grit. I love these wedges for small pieces like this. They last a long time. So I'm just going to so we're actually going to go right down to the wood. We're going to go up the sides a bit. And if you happen to overdo it, you can just go in with a little bit more paint and antique some more. There we go. So I think that looks good. I'm going to wipe all this over and get the dust off it, and then we will attach our piece of fabric or our stitching. All right, so this is my plan. I got my piece ready. I've got my glue gun over here. It's on. Then we're going to attach the stitching. I'm going to use this to add some height to the piece. We're going to glue this on the back, and then we're going to peel and stick the stitching to the front. And then we're going to use some ribbon and some Christmas greenery and such to decorate a bit more. So let's get started. First, move the stitching out of the way. My glue stick is at that critical point. Where really it needs another one in there. Okay. That's going to work. Okay, then we're going to stick this onto here. Just press down so that the glue can stick. Peel back the sticky board. Do this piece on top. Okay, so now I've got some ribbon here, and I think I'm just going to tie a bow. No, I'm going to glue this along the bottom, starting at the back. I think that'll look nice. How much do I need? Enough to go over that edge, there, and there. Handy dandy glue gun. Be careful, it's hot. Just going to put a little bit of glue along here to make sure it stays tight. So I'm just stretching it across there. And then more in the back to finish. There. Looking good. Okay, now, so I'm going to take apart this, what are these called? They're not called stems. They're called, oh, the word will come to me, hopefully. It's greenery. I think I got it at Michael's or Winners. Those red ones. And let's see if I can get these little, yeah, like those. And I like those. I don't really like these dark ones, so I'm not going to put those on. So let's see what we can glue gun on here. Now, is this too much? I'm going to put it actually a little over to the side. I think, because I can always glue it back on after, I'm going to take off one of the leaves. But these are good quality cutting scissors that I'm using for this. Let's get out one of these. And then over here, there we go. Okay, stick that there. So now it's just a matter of preference and playing. I'm just going to use this to glue it down so it's not too hot on my fingers. Oops. Come back here. Readjust that because it moved. There we go. Then I'm going to add that one in there. And it's hot. Oh, I want to move it a little bit down. So I want you to be able to see all the layers. We're gonna, am I gonna add this greenery? Yep. So one thing about a glue gun is it dries fast, but you do have to be a bit patient. Now, I think I might put something maybe down at the bottom, maybe. That looks nice, except I'm going to cut that part off. Glue these ones down there. And then we got this one here. Put that one down further. So this part, this is really fun and using your imagination and deciding how you want it to look. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. You don't have to put any of this on it. And I'm going to put this in there. Completely up to you. Okay. Let those dry. work on the bottom here. So I'm putting glue on the back. I'm still trying to think of the name of these. It's not a spike or a stem. Oh, I almost had it. It's not a spoke. It's something. The name is escaping me. There we go. All right, there we go. Now, if you want to hang this, I've just cut a piece of ribbon. If you happen to have something, obviously, like I have, I'm going to take the ribbon, maybe. Okay, I got a rug hook. I'm going to put that through. You can do this with a small crochet hook too. See if we can pull a little bit. Yes, there we go. Oh, I need a little bit of that fabric through. And then I'm just going to even it up at the top. There you go. Left a white on the bottom. You can see that on the back, but that's fine. You can, of course, I could have gone the whole way around, and I might yet go the whole way across, so that looks a bit better. There you go. Flossmas 2022 ornament. Finished.